Hello, hello, hello. Hope you're having a good day today. Is this the right one? I think this is the right one. Yeah. So anyway, I saw this news article on Twitter, been trending a lot. I said, "Ooh, a George R. R. Martin interview in 2026. This can't be true." So I figured, let me take a little crack at it, see if I get any new information from good old George. So let me go through it. Got the Hollywood Interviewed, Heavy at the Crown, George R. R. Martin on his triumphs and torments. Do, do, do. At the height of his reign, George R. R. Martin, the Game of Thrones over gets canonized about his efforts to rule his expanding Maya Empire, kingdoms. Okay. Okay, 2025. No, no, that's stuff's already been told. Stuff I already know. Some good stuff. Okay, here, 10 years later, George took a seat in his. Look at a puppy. Okay, need some good stuff. That's a nice picture there. There we go. Martin's concerns about the survival of Westeros' kingdom has proved groundless. The first drone spin-off, the prequel House of the Dragon, based on Martin's Fire and Blood, has been a hit for HBO and will be its third season this year. Another prequel, Seven Kingdoms, based on Dunks and Eggs novellas. There are multiple Westeros-based tales in development throughout London, West End. Oh, I see this. Oh no, this one. Our London West End play stage play The Iron Throne, sort of dramatize the story of Robert's Rebellion. That's something I want to see. If it does get shown, I'll bookmark it and read it because I want to see it myself. Because Robert's Rebellion is one of the events that is one of my favorites to learn about. What's we got here? His stuff in Elden Ring. Want to build his empire. Ring Winter. Beast of Book Doors. Same stuff I know about, or I heard about this for a while. Okay, do some good stuff. But first, we discussed the new show, which is this guy playing Duncan, and the boy playing Egg. I hope it does do good. I hope it does do well because I know they said, from what I hear, the non-spoiler reviews that the Hedge Knight adaptation was okay. So far, I've just been hearing non-spoiler reviews. I haven't heard no spoiler reviews yet. But I am interested in seeing it because Duncan Egg is one of my favorite stuff that he's read. Okay, let me see here. At the end of the day, we're having Game of Thrones about the stuff. Parker says we have we have one of the ingredients, two unusual characters like Ari and the Order Hat and the Hound, or Brienne and the Podrick, who are paired together and having conversations. I hope that's what made drones work. It's a big part of what it was for me. Season 1 is faithful to Martin's debut Duncan Egg Tale, The Hedge Knight, and Season 2, which had already been greenlit, will be based on his development of the Sworn Sword. Okay, that's a good sign. The ears have one potential problem. Yup, of course. For the show's future, the big issue is that I have only written 3 novellas. Yes, you have. I have a lot more stories about Duncan Egg in my freaking head. In my fucking head, George says, looking a bit shamefaced. I've got to get on paper. Yes, you do. I began writing at least 2 various points in the past. One set in Winterfell, okay, that's She-Wolves, and one set in the Riverlands, the Village Hero. I think he said he's going to probably switch these around. I know they said they wanted to go to Winterfell in the 3rd book. So maybe he'll do the Riverland story first, and then do the Riverland story first. That'll be the 4th novella, and then the 5th novella will be the She-Wolves of Winterfell. Either way, I'll still read them. I just want them to come out. What else you got here? Ooh, here we go. Of all Martin's shows, books, and events, the businesses come through their own second set of distractions, which get added to the pile and compete for its attention. Some working with writers on not yet announced potential drones projects. Okay, which ones could they do? On top of my head, the only ones they haven't done yet. You got Aegon's Conquest, the Blackfire Rebellions, Robbers Rebellion, and maybe I know the only other one that I know of. I'm going to talk about here. The Korth, the Sea Snake one. That's what I would see. Because they said that one's going to be in live action. That one's going to be an animated project, which would be nice. That'll be interesting to see. I think you talked about. There we go. One previously reported idea is based on Dragon's seafaring character, the Sea Snake. This development has quietly shifted from a live action project to an animated project. Yep, that's good. To keep costs down. Smart. Another one is based on King Aegon Targaryen's conquest of Westeros. Okay, that was one that would have been good to see as well. And it's being developed by HBO as a potential drama series and by Warner Brothers Film Behemoth as a film behemoth Dune-sized feature film. Okay, that could work. If it's a film like the Dune movies, then if a good budget, casting, and direction, that could work. Let's see. But one idea is an offspring of one of the most intriguing of all post-Thrones pitches. The scrapped Jon Snow sequel. Martin long has resisted sequels to Thrones because of the ending of his Song of Songs book is not going to align with the show. He wants to avoid further canonizing Drone's controversial ending, which even though he has written one, written his own yet. The book's ending is going to be significantly different, which he said that already. It's going to be different. It's going to be bittersweet. Some characters who are alive in my book are going to be dead in the show, and vice versa. Yep, we knew that already. Okay, Martin played. Okay, let me see here. Okay, from what I said from the steals, he's a good-looking. He's a good casting for Dunk, and he's a good casting for Egg. I just want to see it on screen, see how it shows. So let me see what's next. Mon figured John, played by Kit Harington in Drones, would be the safest character for a sequel since he was exiled to the north of the wall in the series Mail Alley, and picking up his story would need to include revealing what happened to the other major characters down south. Two characters, Gunpowder, mapping out a tale of John living alone as a broken man of PTSD, having chased off his direwolf ghost and thrown away his sword Longclaw. John spent his time building cabins and burning them back down again. Harington also wanted John to die and to avoid being a hero. The story echoed in some respect Harington's personal struggles, entering rehab following an intense shooting experience on drones, emerging some mental health difficulties that the actress has said, and I think it was directly due to the nature of the show. Okay, that's a way to put the character. HBO found the broken Jon Snow idea too much of a bummer and eventually pushed it down aside. Yeah, I read it. I'm like, okay, what's like there's no plot. He's just beyond the wall doing stuff. Yeah, in recent years, sources say a new writer, young. I'm not going to try and say that. Okay, let me see. Has to come aboard to revive the sequel idea, where the story is still being fleshed out. One possibility is shipping a drama to the Mediterranean-like land of Essos, and adding another hugely popular legacy character, Arya Stark. Okay. This is very early development, however, HBO is naturally being quite cautious about handling this one. We are very interested and excited by the prospect of a sequel, but also keenly aware of how high the bar of execution needs to be. One insider says no actors are yet to be on board, and signing Harrison in particular would likely prove quite difficult. Just recently, the actor declared he doesn't want to go anywhere near Jon Snow again. Martin says he cannot confirm or comment on projects in development. None of the titles is as sensitive. However, Martin discussing a show that everyone already knows about, House of the Dragon. Okay. Boring stuff. Give me some new information. I knew about we already talked about this. Rocky, the relationship with the showrunner of House of Dragon being not good. So give me some new stuff, please. Some small scraps. Some breadcrumbs. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Is winter coming? Dun, dun, dun. isn't so old. I knew this already. Let me see something new. Here we go. George recently has endured losing a wave of fellow novelists, whom he counted as close friends. They're all gone, one after the other. Late last year, Martin sat down one of his idols, Robert Redford, who was a fellow executive producer on Dark Winds. Redford came out of acting current time to film a brief cameo in the show with Martin. Instead of two were sitting at a chessboard, and Michael Adley blibed a line. George or word waiting to make a move. It's a meta joke about how long it's taken George to finish Winter. When Redford died, too, his chess scene of Martin, like stepping out of the seventh seal, was his final performance, which just seemed fucking weird. Martin says Martin's masterpiece, arguably a song of A Storm of Swords, the book published in 2000, was adapted into seasons 3 and 4 of Drones. It's a brilliant, twisting novel spanning more than 1,000 pages and reads like Martin was channeling a river of fire. Somehow, George wrote Swords in a single year. Winter has taken him 13 and counting. I look back at that book too, Martin said. I don't know how I did it. Martin says he has around 1,100 manuscript pages finished. Oh, is this some news? He also said the number for a while. Okay, no. He has blamed the countless distractions that have come from shifting from a full-time offer to a producer and celebrity. The success of Drones was both the best thing that could have happened to Martin and the worst thing that could have happened to the greatest story he ever wrote. Give me some new stuff, please. Boring stuff. Let me see. Give me something nice, please. Don't make it boring. Ooh, here's a nice one. In 1975, Martin met Dune author Frank Herbert. I didn't know he did that. At a book conference, and they shared a drink. The meeting was near the end of Herbert's life. Martin says Herbert had written many acclaimed novels, but all fans seemed to want was more Dune. Herbert's publisher had just offered him a modest advance for a story he wanted to write, or 6 times that number for another Boone novel. He didn't like Dune anymore, and he didn't want to write any more Dune books, Martin says. But he felt locked in by the success of Dune, so he kept writing them. George finishes and waits. I asked, do you relate to how Herbert felt? I'm not necessarily tired of the world of Ice and Fire. He says, I love the world and the world building, but yes, I do. You do, George. It's been over how many years since Drones finished? You thought, like, okay, Game of Thrones is out. They haven't caught up to the books yet. Let me do Winds, and then finish Shift Dream, and then do the rest of your. Because I know he probably does. He does probably. I guess George likes doing more world building than characters, because every single book he kept adding more point of view characters, and the plot kept expanding and expanding. That's why when I did my series, that I went down and wrote down. Sure, it took me a bit, but I said, let me go back, outline everything, use the outline as a small blueprint so I know where the story goes. And I just wrote my drafts for my story 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I said, okay, there's my story right there. 5 stories done. Bam. The main 5 stories was my first challenge, and that was a challenge, but I finished it. So I just got to go back to the drawing board and do some redrafts and rewriting. And then I did a couple short stories that I did too. So I understand how he feels. But I think I would say get wins done. At least if he gets wins done, I'll be happy because if he gets that done, then that might give him motivation to then finish his other small stuff. Like you have Fire and Blood 2. That one he could probably breeze right through that one because he likes writing the history. And that second one is the one I'm most interested in. To gain know the reigns of those later Targaryen kings that we don't know much about from the world of Ice and Fire. Because then he could probably end it with Robert's Rebellion. Or Robert's Rebellion probably be the end of the next Fire and Blood book. And then you have the rest of the more Duncan Egg to finish. Because he already said which ones he wants to do next. Just to write it on paper. Okay, let me see here. Oh, a couple of fans I just presented Martin for gorgeous custom-made dragon's head cane. They had a chat. I wonder how he feels about being given a cane, but don't ask. Martin starts turn unprompted to the end of Ice and Fire. It becomes clear that the details of the story's conclusion, like so much of the saga, remains uncertain. Ooh, here we go. I was going to kill more people. I think you should have. That would have been a good idea. Chip away some of these point of views. That way you could advance the plot. If you're going to kill more people, he muses. Not the ones they killed in the show. They made it more of a happy ending, and I don't want to see a happy ending for Tyrion. His whole life has been tragic from the start. I was going to have Sansa die. Okay. Would she probably die in the Vale? Is that where you probably would have killed her off? Because given like the entire series so far, Sansa's one of our main viewpoint characters. So you got the Star Kids, Arya, Sansa, Bran, and Jon. You got Daenerys, Tyrion, and now you have Theon, Victarion, Asha, Melisandre, Davos, Jon Connaughton, Barristan, Brienne, Jaime, Cersei. Who else am I missing? Melisandre, Arya Hota, Arianne, Martell. I think that's it. So knowing he's going to kill off Sansa, that's interesting to know. He's going to kill off Sansa, but she's been so appealing to the show, maybe I'll let her live. His assistant's car is coming, and I asked what he's doing for Christmas. Oh, he's here. I don't know, Martin says. I think I'll stay home. I have to write more Duncan Egg. There's supposed to be another Fire and Blood book. Yup. I do think I can, if I can just get some of these other things off my back, I can finish Winds of Winter pretty soon. It's been made clear to me that Winds is the priority, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm not in the mood for that. Like I said, if he wants to get this stuff off his back, one, write more Duncan Egg, finish Duncan Egg, or at least get the next two ideas that you have out. So at least one, it's ahead of the books, it's ahead of the show, because they're good. They already greenlit season 2 for the Sworn Sword, and they haven't. I don't think they announced they've greenlit the third one yet. But if they do, that's it. So either sit down, type, or write these next two Duncan Egg stories, because it seems like that's a good idea to do each novella is a season. So that would be good. That would be like season 5. So you have the Village Hero will be season 4. She Was a Winterfell season 5, and then go from there. Then you have Fire and Blood 2, which I want to read. Oh, is that it? Let me double check. I know there's something else in here. Okay, that looks like it's it. Let me see. Okay, I read that. I read that piece. That piece of Frank Herbert. Let me see. Let me go back up. Let me see here. Oh, there we go. I love this part here. Okay, the roots of the Song of Ice and Fire extend back to Martin's childhood. As a kid, he kept playing with turtles. When they mysteriously began dying off, he made his stories about how the turtles were brutal rivals who were secretly killing one another in sinister plots. Then he went on and worked on shows like Beauty and the Beast and the revival of the Twilight Zone. Martin really wrote Song of Ice and Fire to be a sprawling epic that would be unfilmable. The result has sold more than 100 million copies. Today, Martin works on Winter at his old house, serves as his office. He recently moved primary residence to another San Francisco property, typing away on a DOS computer that's not on the internet. Here's what happens when he sits down to write. I'll open the last chapter I was working on, and I'll say, oh, fuck, this is not very good. And I'll go in and I'll rewrite it. Okay, yeah, I get that. I get that too, a bit. I look at it, I'm all right. Let me trim some of this fat, and let me try and rewrite it. Or I'll decide this Tyrion chapter is not coming along. Let me write a Jon Snow chapter. If not interrupted though, what happens, at least in the past, is sooner or later I'll get into it. Ooh, this Tyrion chapter is not coming along well. Jon Snow chapter. So steadily tease or confirm that there's going to be a Jon Snow point of view in winter? So that means, not like in the show, probably a different method, that Jon's going to get resurrected somehow in the books, but it's going to be a much different way. That's interesting to know about, because he heard about it, him talking about Tyrion and Cersei. He never mentioned Jon. He never mentioned a Jon Snow chapter at all. What else you got here? Okay, one issue with narrative complex. The fourth Ice and Fire book of Beast and Crow introduced separate characters and a major storylines to an already highly enticing tale. Martin was soon switching between point of views between 21 rival 40-point characters, each with their own dedicated series of chapters. When trying to reach the same narrative juncture, showrunners Benioff and Weiss decided to largely stick with characters who were already established, yet still fans who struggled to pull off the final stretch that fans felt was satisfying. Correcto. Like, one of the reasons season 8 was bad was, one, not enough episodes. I mean, if it was a rush, like the long night, the fight with the White Walkers, gone in like an episode. I'm like, wait a minute, whoa. We did all this build up for the White Walkers, and this is how you do it? Plus, nobody died. Like, I would have figured some character, at least some of the main characters, would die. But no, they had, the plot armor was thick that day. And you getting mad. That was probably something people thought was going to happen, but it was just kind of rushed in the show. Like, if they did, I don't know, maybe like 12, at least 12 episodes, and just flesh it out. Give each episode some room to breathe and subtly give her turn some good pacing, then it maybe would have been better. But overall, all right. That was a good interview there. Sure, some of the stuff was stuff I already knew about, but I enjoyed it. I am hoping. I'm hoping for anything at this point. I'm starving. I've been eating these crumbs for years. I need a nice appetizer, please, George. Give me put some food on my plate. A Song of Ice and Fire is your breadwinner, and you haven't given us any bread for years. I know right now we got the Fire and Blood. We got Fire. Yeah. House of Dragon coming out. That's coming out. New season. I might give it a watch. Might not. I'm more excited for the Duncan Egg spin-off show than anything else. Given the trailer was a good looks like it's going to be a good adaptation. So the showrunner for that is a good choice. So hopefully, if it goes well, then they could greenlight the last novella and get that adapted. And maybe at that time, or even before that time, hopefully in that time gap, before that even gets there, we have an announcement. Boom! George R. Martin has a book announcement. Fire and Blood 2. or the next two Dunk and Egg stories. Because those are the two things that I'm most excited for. Or it would just be a big surprise. Winds of Winter announcement. After so long, well, here you guys, here you go. Here's a bone. Winds of Winter. That should hold you guys off for a few years to discuss and analyze. Because I will buy it when it comes out. Whenever it comes out. So I got Winds, Fire and Blood 2, and the next two Dunk and Egg stories, The Village Hero, and She-Wolves of Winterfell. Either way, any of those books come out, it's going to be selling like hotcakes. So until then, this is it for this video. Overall, I say the interview was pretty well constructed. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10 in terms of my enjoyment. And no, I'll give it a 7. 7 out of 10. Given most of the information was stuff we already knew about. And the stuff that was new was good. So until then, that's the end of this stream here. So have a nice one.